In this new world video, we're gonna see if the Chain Perk is better than Keenly Empowered. In my last video that I posted, I showed that the Chain Perk can actually be a best in slot perk. We saw that in the last video that we get a 10% increase in damage just with the Chain Perk proc. But if the Chain Perk procs are 3 persons, the damage increases to 30%. In that video I had some comments demonstrating to me that Keenly Empowered will still be better than the Chain Perk. So in this video we're gonna test Keenly Empowered versus the Chain Perk to actually know for sure which perk will come out on top. In order to do this test, I'm gonna be a fully spec'd Great Axe and I'm gonna use 2 Great Axes. What I did was I went out to the trading market and bought 2 axes, one with Keenly Empowered and one with the Chain Perk. Each of them also has enchanted on it. Also the Great Axes has the same score. I upgraded one axe with my emerald shard just to make sure the gear score is the same. So we're gonna test them head to head on auto attacks and ability use. First we're gonna compare the damage done on auto attacks. So I'm gonna crit on the Keenly Empowered Great Axe and I'm gonna stack the Great Axe to 3 auto attacks. Since you do more damage with the Great Axe, the more you actually auto attack. So we're gonna compare the auto attack damage first from each axe and see which one does the most damage just by one using Keenly Empowered and one using the Chain Perk. As you saw, if Keenly Empowered is activated, we do about 1.66% more damage with Keenly Empowered. So Keenly Empowered is better for single auto attacks if you actually have Keenly Empowered activated on your auto attacks. But if you're facing 3 opponents and you proc Chain, you get about a 15.69% increase in damage if you use Chain. But remember, Keenly Empowered is on a 10-second cooldown and Chain is only on a 2-second cooldown. So it will depend how much you dodge and how much you can utilize Empowered in a 1v1. But this is just one single auto attack. What we have to take in account is the cooldown of Keenly Empowered and the cooldown of Chain. And we will have to see which one does the more damage just by simply auto attacking. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna record a macro auto attacking a dummy and we're gonna auto attack the same amount the dummy with Keenly Empowered and Chain, and we will see which one will come out ahead. I'm gonna proc Keenly Empowered about 3 times on the dummy and then we will go to the results. Before we start, just know that Keenly Empowered is activated for about 5 seconds, then goes on a 10-second cooldown, and Chain only has a 2-second cooldown and is activated every 2 seconds. Okay, we just finished the auto attack damage test, testing Keenly Empowered and Chain together. So which one actually came on top? As we saw, Keenly Empowered did the most damage but we critted for more, and Chain did the least damage but we critted for less. So if we want to get accurate results, we will have to take away 3 non-empowered crits from Keenly Empowered. If we take out those 3 non-empowered crits, we actually see that Chain comes out on top. And this is just 1v1, this doesn't even include the proc that you can get of 3 members. This was very close. Chain actually did 0.45% more damage than Keenly Empowered. But of course, if the weapon had a faster attack speed, like the hatchet or the rapier or the spear, then obviously Empower will do more damage. So for Empower to win this matchup, we will have to have a weapon that actually attacks a little bit faster to utilize Keenly Empowered more effectively. But what if this was a 1v3 situation? How much damage will we have done more with Chain? I went over the numbers and I saw that we would have done 5,730 more damage if it was a 1v3. This will add up to 8.61% more damage with Chain. So Chain will have done 8.61% more damage than Helium Powered if this was a 1v3 situation. So now we're gonna test Helium Powered and Chain while using one ability, which will be Enfeebling Maelstrom. I could only macro Enfeebling Maelstrom since I'm not very good with macros. I couldn't use Charge and Gravity well. It started messing up my macros and I was running around the map without actually hitting the dummy. So I only macroed Enfeebling Maelstrom since it didn't move my character. This would still probably provide us accurate results since we will have to see if Helium Powered is effective during an ability. What I mean by this is that each ability has a cast time and a wind up time and a downtime. So it actually uses up a few seconds from Helium Powered. So the more abilities you use with Helium Powered, the less effective Helium Powered becomes because you will have to go through the animation of the ability. So we're gonna test if this is the correct theory and see if Helium Powered comes on top of Chain while using abilities, since Chain only procs some auto attacks. As you just saw, we did more damage with Chain and less damage with Helium Powered, but the crits on Chain was more and the crits on Helium Powered was less. So what we will have to do is that we will have to take away some crit damage from Chain. So we will take 5 crits away from Chain and 1 crit ability. This will bring down the Chain damage to 78,618. Chain would have still done more damage than Helium Powered. Chain did about 2.42% more damage than Helium Powered when using abilities. So this means that when you use abilities, Helium Powered becomes less effective since the animation time of the abilities are too long to be utilized with Helium Powered. And you only have a 5-second window to use Helium Powered. It's better just to use your auto attacks if you proc Helium Powered. We also need to take in account that Chain can proc onto 3 opponents. So how much damage would we have done more if it was a 1v3 situation? If it was a 1v3 situation, we would have done 6,082 more damage 1v3, and this will increase our damage by 10.34% more damage than Helium Powered if this was a 1v3 situation. So from this testing, it might seem that Helium Powered is a less inferior perk to Chain, but I wouldn't say so. Yes, Helium Powered is most of the time a lesser perk, but I would say that Helium Powered also has a use. For example, if you're playing a burst assassin and you're playing around your Helium Powered cooldown, then Helium Powered is still a good perk to use. But if you're somebody that's always in a fight and you're not hopping around and playing around your Helium Powered cooldown, then I would say Chain is the better perk. Also, Chain does more damage in wars and open world PvP and OPR. So I would say that for 1v1s, Helium Powered can be good, but remember, if you get stunned, if the opponent dodges away, and if you use abilities with long animations, then you are basically wasting your Helium Powered buff, since it only lasts 5 seconds. So there's a lot of minuses to Helium Powered, but there can also be a big plus to do insane amount of burst damage with Helium Powered by using your Helium Powered and a high attack speed weapon or abilities with fast cast animations. But also keep in mind that you have to proc Helium Powered with a crit, so it's not always guaranteed that you will proc Helium Powered on your first hit. I would say if you have to choose between Helium Powered and Chain, go with Chain, since it's so good in all situations. And the big weakness with Helium Powered is the cooldown and the 5-second window to use Helium Powered. If you've liked this video, consider subscribing. I post new World videos every week.